Many people today live with doubt about their achievements, and they live with the fear that others will discover that they're not as capable as they appear. Many people today live with the fear that they don't truly deserve what they have, and that the success that they do have, they fear that they're going to lose it. It's called imposter syndrome, and it affects a significant portion of the population. And even though social media has made this worse, this is something that's been around for centuries. There's a story that took place many generations ago in a small town known for its exquisite tapestries, where a young man named Taro lived. And Taro was the son and the apprentice of a legendary weaver. And Taro's father's tapestries hung in palaces and sacred temples and were celebrated for their beauty and intricate designs. And when Taro's father passed away, the town expected him to continue his father's legacy. But he became filled with doubt, believing he could never match his father's artistry. Now, as he weaved, with each thread, his heart grew heavier with the fear of not being good enough. His hands would tremble and his patterns were uneven. And the more he compared his work to his father's, the more he suffered. And he began to believe that he was only a shadow of his father, a pretender to the loom. Well, one evening, as he sat despondently next to his loom, his mother came in. And she saw the sadness in his eyes and the unfinished tapestry on the loom, and Taro confided in her, expressing his fears and his belief that he was an imposter, not a true weaver like his father. His mother listened quietly, and then she walked over to a dusty corner of the workshop and she pulled out a small plain tapestry. And it was unlike any of his father's works because it was simple with modest colors and an uncomplicated design. "Do you know who wove this?" she asked. Taro shook his head, puzzled. It's too simple to be my father's." "This was your father's first tapestry." A gentle smile spreading across her face. He too struggled with doubt and fear, but he wove his path, one thread at a time, learning and growing with each piece. He became the master everyone admired, not overnight, but over time. And Taro looked up from the tapestry to his mother, the full realization dawning on him. He had only seen the end of his father's journey, not the humble and the challenging beginnings. Now, inspired by his father's early imperfections, Taro returned to his loom with an all-new perspective. He started to weave not to replicate his father's masterpieces, but to express his own vision. And as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, his confidence grew. And his designs began to reflect his own style, vibrant and full of life. And years later, Taro's tapestries, unique and beautiful in their own right, were hung in many of the same places as his father's, and visitors came to see not a replica of his father's work, but to admire the distinct tapestries of the weaver's son. Now, this parable teaches us that everyone's journeys has imperfections and doubts. And like Taro, it's important to recognize that we do not have to live in the shadows of those that have gone before us or those that are ahead of us. But instead, we forge our own path, learning and growing along the way. And by honoring our own journey, rather than comparing it to the journey of others, the feeling of being an imposter melts away. So, 3 steps I've learned that we can take to honor our journey and melt away the feelings of being an imposter. Step 1, reflect. Make time to reflect on your experiences, your achievements, and your lessons learned. And this can be done through journaling, or simply quiet contemplation. Reflecting helps us to see how far we've come and understand the value of each experience. Step 2, celebrate wins. So whether big or small, celebrating wins is important and impactful. And this can be anything from completing a project, reaching a personal goal, getting a new client, or simply getting through a tough week. Celebrating these moments reinforces self-worth and it acknowledges our efforts and our progress. And for a deeper dive into the positive impact of celebration, you can watch the cycle of celebration, and the link to that video is below. Now, step 3 is make time for you. Honoring our journey also means taking care of our physical, our mental, and our emotional health. And prioritizing and scheduling time rejuvenates, giving us strength and nurtures our well-being. And by practicing these 3 steps, it will help us go from feeling like an imposter to feeling empowered so that you can experience a more productive, more fulfilling, and truly profitable life. Thanks for joining me on this journey towards greater impact. I look forward to seeing you the next time. Until then, stay focused, stay present, stay impactful.